Good evening. This is Judge Brian Haggerty, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the El Paso Community College District. Welcome to our meeting on this fine day. If you would like to teleconference, you can access this meeting by dialing the toll-free number 1-844-621-3956. Enter the access code 120-957-2188. Please press hashtag to access the call. And through a video and audio feed found at youtube.com/GoEPCC. Any member of the public wishing to make a comment or question regarding an agenda item can email the comments or questions to the following email address at boardquestions@epc.edu. All backup and related materials for the meeting can be accessed at the following link, epcc.edu/administration/Board of Trustees. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting. I'd like to move to 1.9.1. Judge Lujan has another appointment, so if we could read that, please.
Yes, sir. Item 1.9, Board of Trustees business. Item 1.9.1, the Board of Trustees will conduct the official swearing in and administering of the oath of office to the newly elected members of the Board of Trustees in District 2 and 3.
Introduce Judge Lujan. He's the longest-serving JP in the county of El Paso. How many years, Judge?
21.
21. All right.
21 and one more to go.
Okay. You sure?
And then 4 after that. Yes. Here we go. You want to the microphone?
However you want to do it.
So they can take pictures with everything like this. Here we go. All right. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, your name,
I, Brian Haggerty,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
El Paso County Community College,
El Paso County Community College,
District Number 2
District Number 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the laws,
preserve, and defend the
the
laws,
Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of the state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Judge Haggerty, how long have you been on the board?
I think this is 26 years. This will put me at 33 years at the end of this next term. 33 years. Long time.
Congratulations.
It's an honor and privilege, first of all, to know you, be my friend, allies in the Council of Judges and everything we got to do for the county.
Yes, sir.
And congratulations for basically working with our students. We refer a lot to El Paso Community College.
Yes, we
That's
do.
the number one on the top of the list. And when I met the gentleman over there many years ago, he said that, please send them to us. We're going to help you with these kids. And so far, so good. Thank you for keeping your commitment to my kids in the Valley and the kids of El Paso. Okay, Judge Haggerty, thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck to you. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, we'll continue the meeting. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Thank you, Judge. Take care. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for supper. It was worth the trip.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Come here.
Did you see?
Okay, now we continue for the roll call. Pam, please poll the board members to see who is in attendance.
Yes, sir. Mr. Upser. Roll call.
I'm here.
Ms. Sanchez.
Here.
Mrs. Robles is not here. Dr. Graham.
Here.
Ms. Naheda.
Here.
Ms. Pena.
Here.
Mr. Haggerty.
Here, and Ms. Robles is here in spirit. She had a surgery earlier this week on her knee, but I'm sure she's here in spirit. So. Okay, Pam, I want to welcome all our guests and staff members. Anyone for open forum, Pam?
No, sir, we have had no one sign up today.
Okay, let's skip down to 1.7.
Item 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, and organizations. Item 1.7.1, Dr. William Sarata, college president, will recognize individuals who have retired from the college district.
Chair Haggerty, members of the board, the first person is Deborah Sweet, a program analyst in ERP support in the Division of Information Technology. Debbie has been employed at the college for 20 years and has served in multiple roles during this time. She started as a financial aid resources advisor in 2001. In that role, she assisted the financial aid department as their computer technician, and she also created financial aid reports. Later, she was assigned to the Division of Information Technology and began working as a programmer analyst. While working in the IT division, she has been a member of the ERP support team, working extensively on Banner and supporting the financial aid department. Debbie has served as vice president of the Professional Staff Association and has served on many of the PSA committees over the years. Her plans for retirement are to make it through this pandemic. All of us are doing that, Debbie. She wants to do more travel and, of course, spend more time with family. On behalf of the Division of Information Technology and the college as a whole, we thank Debbie for her many years of service, and she will be missed. Grace Haddocks, Professor of English, Arts, Communication, and Social Sciences Division at the Trans Mountain campus. Grace Haddocks began teaching at El Paso Community College as an adjunct English instructor in 1994 while teaching high school full-time. She became a lecturer in spring 2002, a tenure track instructor in fall 2002, and earned tenure in 2006. During her time at EPCC, Ms. Haddocks earned the Faculty Achievement Award in 2010. She served as faculty coordinator for 17 years in the Arts, Communication, and Social Sciences Division at Trans Mountain. She was the QEP director from 2010 to 2013, and she has been the special project assistant for AVP Mitchell from 2016 to the present as faculty liaison for the district-wide Grade Appeals Committee. She was a member of several discipline and district-wide committees, serving longest on the Textbook Committee, the Dual Credit Online Committee, and the Trans Mountain Campus Improvement Committee. In 2018 and 2019, in conjunction with Dr. Tom Schmid from UTEP, she took several EPCC students to England to study abroad and earn EPCC and UTEP English credits. She presented to the board, I'll remind you, on that particular trip. This was a new and exciting collaboration for EPCC. Lastly, Ms. Haddocks feels that EPCC has provided such a wonderful opportunity to introduce students to literature and travel and the benefits of a rigorous curriculum to prepare them for both a four-year institution and the demands of real life. Grace commented that it has been a privilege to work at EPCC, and she hopes to continue teaching as an adjunct in the immediate future. You will be missed, Ms. Haddocks. And finally, Lori Hefner, Manager of Library Systems, Library Technical Services in the Division of Information Technology. Ms. Hefner started with El Paso Community College in August 1983 and has served in various roles. Lori worked for many years in the IT department, and in 1987, she worked with the library system. At this time, El Paso Community College was in a joint partnership with the El Paso Public Library and used the INLEX software. This was the beginning of automating the library system. A few years later, the college procured a TIF, Technology Infrastructure Fund, grant, and the funds were used to fully automate the library system. Lori was assigned to work in the library technical services area to assist with the technical aspects of the newly automated library system. Later, this function was assigned back then to the IT division. Since then, the library has migrated to multiple systems over the years. Ms. Hefner has been very active with the Professional Staff Association and assisted with providing input on college policies and procedures. She has always seen her role as that of assisting libraries and librarians help students succeed. Ms. Hefner commented that she leaves EPCC with a sense of achievement and a smile. On behalf of the Division of Information Technology and the college as a whole, we thank you, Ms. Hefner, for her many years of service, and she will be missed.
Dr. Serrata, please express our thanks to their service to the college on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and I hope they enjoy their retirement.
Will do, Judge.
Item 1.7.2, optional written report submitted by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association will be read at this time. I have one report from the Student Government Association. Dear EPCC Board and College President, on behalf of the Student Government Association, I would like to continue sharing updates about our work and efforts that we are putting in as we approach the new 2021-22 academic year. As the 2020-2021 academic year is at only 2 months left to end, we have strived to fulfill students' needs and concerns, to establish solutions and create pathways of new opportunities at our institution. I want to start by talking about the spring commencement ceremony held virtually on May 2021. Graduation is always an important milestone for our students that brings excitement and significance to their families. I want to thank all of those who worked on the creation of a website for our outstanding graduates and allowing family and friends to shout out to that distinctive graduate by writing them a special message. I applaud the 2021 commencement speaker, Dr. Roberto Coronado, for his remarkable speech to our graduates. I am a proud graduate of the class of 2021 with an Associate of Science degree in mathematics, graduating with a 4.0 GPA. I will always be grateful for the opportunities that El Paso Community College brought me towards my education. Moving on with our Sga updates, on May 7th, we held the 2021 Student Government Association banquet in which we awarded 19 scholarships in the amount of $750 each to exceptional students that demonstrated courage, resilience, and grit to continue their education. There were 2 writing prompts for students to choose to write and apply. The first prompt was what were the most valuable lessons you have learned during this pandemic and why? Meanwhile, the second prompt was about how critical thinking affects the quality and function of a democracy. Furthermore, we recognize the clubs for their arduous work despite the COVID-19 pandemic. The Dare to Soar Award recognizes a club member that demonstrates a level of commitment and support. This year, the award went to Nohemi Vasquez from the Architecture Society Club for her standard excellence in representing the college at its best. In addition, the Soaring Wings Award is awarded to the best club president who demonstrates commitment going beyond the required level of work within a student organization. This year, the 2021 Soaring Wings Award recipient was Jiwan Chung from the American Institute of Architecture Society, AIAS Club, for his outstanding leadership. Lastly, the Inspirational Award recognizes a faculty advisor whose contribution to the growth of individual members' roles as advocates encourages the club to be involved on the local, regional, and state levels. This year, the Inspirational Award went to Professor Aaron Alvarez, co-advisor of the EPCC Philosophy Club, for his dedication and determination to the club. We want to highlight the Dental Hygiene Club for its commitment and devotion to fighting against hunger. This year, the Dental Hygiene Club was recognized at the SGA banquet for their support to the Tejano Food Pantry for their donations to help us continue to pursue the goal of helping students and their families in these challenging times. The past month, we have been working on balancing our budget for the next administration of SGA and working with furniture companies to replace the furniture in the Valle Verde Student Union before our students come back to campus to give them the opportunity to feel comfortable and relaxed while they are studying. Also, we have brainstormed ideas about possible giveaways to welcome our students in August, as well as items for the next Leader B1 conference. We want every student to have the best college experience that they can imagine while they attend the best place to start and finish. I want to thank all SGA members for their contributions and dedication these months. We have worked fully in an online environment, but we are here to continue shaping the legacy of the Student Government Association, no matter the circumstances, by adapting to new learning environments. Sincerely, Eduardo A. Flores, President, Student Government Association. And that is all I have, sir.
Okay, I'd like to revisit 1.9.1 just for the public's information. Ms. Berlin will be sworn in tomorrow afternoon. She's in the hospital, and we have to have special permission to get in there to swear her in. But I'd like the public to know this will be her third term. She'll be starting her third term. And she's been a great asset to this college and to this board. 1.9.2, Pam.
Board of Trustees business, item 1.9.2, discussion and action on the election of chair of the Board of Trustees.
We have a motion?
I make a motion
make-
that Judge Hegarty be named Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll have some discussion.
Okay.
Judge, I think you've done a great job, and I'm so grateful for your leadership, especially the 33 years that you've been here. I'm just, in any organization, I always think it's a good idea to have the opportunity for someone else to kind of potentially serve in that role. I was going to nominate Dr. Graham, but I see that she's made the motion for Judge Haggerty to do it, but I thought she would have been a good chair just based on her leadership and, of course, her commitment to our students. So that would have been my recommendation, but I see that she's made the chair, but, that has already made the nomination for you to continue to serve as the chair. But that was just the feedback I wanted to provide. But I do think you've done a great job. But I like that opportunity for that leadership, so.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. One of the things I wanted to bring up is that at the, before I came on the board, I noticed that there used to be a rotating type, and maybe since the judge has been here 100 years, he can speak to that, but there used to be a rotation because I'm a firm believer that everybody should have opportunities to serve in various capacities here. And we kind of got away from that at the last, with the last chair, and he was here forever. But I'm glad he's now over there in the House of Representatives where he's finally working.
And he's
But
missed.
having said that,
love you, Rep.
if,
Prieto.
you know, I would like for that judge to speak to that, and how was that working before? And can we maybe consider going back to that style of system that we had, that was in place?
The way it was when I first came on the board, the way it was set up per se, was whoever was the chair would then step down, and then the vice chair would move up, and then the secretary would move up, and then the new secretary would.
Every election, or how often?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years?
Yep.
And, you know, with that said, I was going to actually nominate you for the vice chair because, you know, there should be some kind of rotation that everybody gets to experience the different positions. You know, I know that Mrs. Robles is comfortable stepping down from secretary right now because she shared that with me. So we do need to, you know, look for who would serve as a secretary.
I was actually going to ask if we could put that in into the policies of the college so that it was permanently, so that there's no discussion in the future. And I really appreciate your faith in me. And I kind of was going to do that this time, except for the pandemic. And I mean, I was only in 6 months, but I think we should make that a permanent thing so that future boards, so we don't have the same Because truthfully, any one of us can be chairman of this board. You're all very talented, you're all very, and any one of us could be chair of the board. And I appreciate the backing of me for one more term, but I really do think that we should get with Dr.
Chair Haggerty?
Yes, sir.
If you're going to make that, we'll make a consideration, just as an observation, having worked in several organizations and companies, I find that generally what happened is that no matter how familiar you are with an organization, your first year is understanding and your second year is you begin to get your feet on the ground. What I would suggest, if we have a rotating, that because we have 6-year terms, okay, that we would probably do that on say a 3 or a 4-year basis, as opposed to rotating out every 2 years. We functionally only meet 12 times a year plus any special meeting. And I think, the first year or two, no matter how familiar you are with the organization, to become familiar with how you actually head it as a chair, being the top office, you need a second or third year to be able to function after you've figured out what happens the first year. So I would suggest that we, instead of doing rotating on 2 years, we consider at least a rotating, say, a 3 or 4 year term.
Well, it's not on the agenda tonight, but can we put that on the agenda for next month?
Sure.
And we can discuss it then, and go from there. Any other discussion?
I like Mr. Oxer's idea, so yes, we can discuss it at another.
Okay, we'll discuss it next month at the meeting. If there's no more discussion, call the question, Pam.
Actually, I believe what we have done in the past is we've called for nominations
3 times.
2 additional times.
Okay.
And so
Do we have any more nominations?
Is it appropriate that we elect to do it by acclamation at this point?
After the second time, if
Oh,
there's
after the
any
second
other
one more.
nominations. Any other nomination?
No?
Okay.
Okay. Call the question.
I think Mr. Uxer wanted to say something. Oh, okay. Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Aye.
Dr. Graham, Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
I guess aye, okay.
Don't sound so excited.
I am excited.
Pound that gavel, Judge.
I'm always excited when I come and see you guys. 1.9.3, Pam.
Item 1.9.3, discussion and action on the election of vice chair of the Board of Trustees.
Judge,
Is there a motion?
in view of my previous observation, I think now that we actually have a vice chair that now has become familiar with her office, I would suggest that we ask her to continue in that office, and I nominate Dr. Graham.
Do we have a second?
Thank you, sir.
I'll second. Second?
Any discussion? Is there any other nominations?
One more time.
Any other nominations? Okay. Call the question, Pam.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Okay.
1.9.4.
Item 1.9.4, discussion and action on the election of Secretary of the Board of Trustees.
I make a nomination of Ms. Cristina Sanchez.
Second?
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Call the question, Pam.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye. Thank you, Dr. Graham, for the vote of confidence.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Congratulations
Thank you.
to all three of us. Okay, 1.9.5, Pam.
Item 1.9.5, discussion and action on the selection of a meeting schedule for the regular meetings of the Board of Trustees. This is what we've done after every election, is that the trustees will revisit the schedule. Like right now, we're meeting on the 4th Wednesday, so we just usually readdress that and continue or propose another date.
Everybody happy with the fourth Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we continue on the fourth Wednesday.
The only question I do have, I guess, because this is setting the meeting schedule for the rest of the year. So say, for example, and I know we've worked this out, somebody can't come, or we know that we might not have a quorum. Do we post that item for the next meeting? In other words, if we kind of know that, do we have to post it to take action, or do we just announce it? Is that sufficient? That's just I don't know.
So in the past, the board chair would just announce that the meeting was going to be on another date if the board was not going to be available on the date that was selected.
Okay.
And then, not quite remembering sure when this came about, but we started posting it as an agenda item if we knew in advance to move the date for the following meeting.
Gotcha. Okay. Just
Okay.
That gives people a month, because we announced it like today when the next meeting is, so, but if we have to cancel it and reschedule, then yeah, that's a different process.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Sounds
I
good.
need a second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
And what about the hours? Do we want to keep it to this time? Or does that work for you, Dr. Graham? I know
Yeah.
some of the meetings have been running late, and so should we set them then at,
I think 5:30 gives you enough time, right, Doctor?
you want to do 5:30?
It gives me plenty of time at 5:30. I can make it earlier if we need to.
Did you like this time better, Christina? Is that what you're saying?
Uh,
Like today was
I'm
at
just wondering,
4:30?
it doesn't matter, it's okay, whatever time works for the rest of the board, I can make it happen. I just want to see what was more accommodating for everybody else.
Before, we didn't used to have the facilities meeting that were, long like that. So that started kind of with all the construction stuff that was going on.
Yes, ma'am.
But maybe we can, if you want to, we can move it to 5, and that gives us a half an hour earlier
They were
departure.
at 5 at one time, weren't
We
they?
were having
Yeah.
meetings start at 5 previously, that's
5,
correct.
yes.
I think that's a good.
You can make it
reasonable
at 5?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Sir, you can make it at 5?
Hi.
Yeah, so we could make it 5 o'clock, sir?
Okay. So 5 o'clock it is. Call the question, Pam.
Mr. Luxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Okay. Item
1.9.6.
Item 1.9.6, update and discussion regarding the college phase return back to campus plan.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, we have briefed the board continuously, actually every month, where we are with COVID and where we are with our return to campus plan. So let me go through the data. We've just completed, today is the 14th day of another 2-week period, May 26. 14 days of decreasing cases. We're currently averaging 56 cases per day, which is down from the prior 2 weeks of 101 cases, and it's the 4th consecutive 2-week period that we're experiencing declining cases, and is the 6th consecutive 2-week period that we're under the 212 cases that we look at as a metric for the size of our county. This metric is now well below our benchmark of no more than 212 cases per day. The rolling 7-day average is now at 1.10%, which is below the 5% goal in order to implement phase 1 of a return to campus. And we have not seen one day in this 2-week cycle that metric has been above 5%. The cumulative positivity rate stands at 9.98% today, which has continued on a downward trajectory. And that was the one pending item that we were looking at. That one, we were waiting for that to come below 10, and it did today. The infection rate continues to fall, and we have not seen a single day within the 2-week period of exceeding the daily total of 212 cases. Finally, we've now incorporated vaccination rates. We currently stand at 53.2% of our population fully vaccinated and 67.4% of our population having received their first vaccination. So to summarize, we're now meeting the 14 days of decreasing cases, the infection rate, and the 7-day rolling average is well below 5%. The 7-day rolling average is less than or equal to 5% for this entire 14-day period. There wasn't a single day that we saw it jump over that. The cumulative positivity rate reached the desired rate of being less than or equal to 10%, as it stands at 9.98%. And as such, we would recommend to the board, and we believe that we're in a position to bring a recommendation to the board for a phase 1 return to campus. And I'd submit to the board for your recommendation, our recommendation, that you consider that we return to campus on Monday, June 14th at 25% capacity with 100% of the staff participating. So I've asked the vice presidents and the department heads to create schedules, and it could be daily, it could be weekly, but that we have all of our staff return to campus on June the 14th, 25% capacity, but 100% of the staff participating.
Okay, do I
I'm
hear a
happy to
motion?
entertain any questions, Chair.
I have a question, sir. How are you going to handle the ones that say, no, I'm too comfortable at home, I don't want to go back?
So we're going to handle that particular population by telling them they have to come home, they have to come back to the office. If there is a segment of our staff that have a legitimate health concern, we have advised them to go forward and reach out to Dr. Peña and Ms. Field and Human Resources to submit that, all within the privacy of Human Resources, and they would not have to come back at this time. I will share with the board that we're looking at, that's 25% would be June 14th, and we have another 2-week period between now and then so that we can continue to monitor it. In July, I would like to recommend to the board that we look at 50%, if the data supports it, coming back on August the 2nd. And then finally, I would look at October the 1st, October the 4th, that we would come back at 75%. That's what we're looking at right now. I don't believe that we're in a position yet. And in our plan, we believe that the spring semester will be ready to return to campus at 100%. Again, 100% of the staff would be required to participate, other than those that have a legitimate excuse, medical excuse, have legitimate documented proof that they will share with Dr. Peña and Human Resources, and they would not have to come back at this time, Dr. Graham.
And can you speak a little bit to the safety and wellness practices and processes, procedures that will be in place? Because we have to ensure that even though we're, starting to bring people back, that the place is safe and clean, disinfected, and all that.
Absolutely, Dr. Graham. So until the governor passed or signed his most recent executive order, we were going to continue to require masks. We felt it was in the best interest of the college to keep the community safe. While we're well over 50% now that have been vaccinated or have received all their vaccinations, we still have a significant population, and obviously those that are under 12 have not been vaccinated to date. So we were going to move forward with that. Obviously, we made sure that we're in compliance with the governor's executive order. We took down our signs. We're not requiring it. We're highly encouraging it, but we're not requiring masking. To date, Dr. Graham, the governor and our state leadership has not changed the 6-foot requirement, social distancing. Mm-hmm. So we're continuing to move forward with that plan. The COVID-19 team, it's Dr. Peña, it's myself, it's Ms. Field, it is Ivan Flores, and it is Hector Padilla. We meet weekly. We go over the data. We make sure that we're all on the same page with what we're doing, and we will continue. We have, as you've seen, we have the spacing that is still out there. As long as elected officials do not change that, we will continue to move forward with that.
Dr. Stroud?
Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what the vaccination status of the faculty and staff is?
I saw that Dr. Wilson had tweeted out a very specific indication of what UTEP's faculty, staff, and student ratios were. I do not know that, Mr. Exer. I mean, HIPAA is something that we take very seriously. We're really not allowed to ask Our faculty and staff, if they've been vaccinated, they can volunteer that information, but we're not allowed to ask, and we have not asked. So we're using the county's population aggregate as what we utilize to determine our phases.
Do we have a way that we can encourage the vaccination by providing an on-site type of service?
We have one, Dr. Graham. So we have at the Mission campus, we are providing vaccinations. We did become a provider. So we were a testing site, I'll remind the board, at the Valle Verde campus. And then we received authorization to become a provider. And so we are offering those at the Mission campus, and we're currently offering them for anyone that is 15 and above. Or is it, what is it? 12 and above? 12. For 12 and above, and I know because my son went and got his first vaccination at the Mission campus. So I can't wait for Nathan to go back to America's high school.
Dr. Sarata,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this would be relevant, but would it be possible to announce that they're going to be giving the vaccinations on the Vista supermarkets on Alameda, Montana Vista, and Piedras and no questions asked in reference to ID or, a lot of, families, or students that have families that are not legal here, that would be no
Citizens.
issue on that. And they will be providing it the 1st of June, the 7th, and the 7th and the 15th from 8 in the morning to 6 p.m. And that's at the Vista Supermarket on Alameda, Piedras, and Montana Vista.
Absolutely, Ms. Pina. We will make sure that we get that onto our general listserv, the email for all faculty and staff, so that they're aware. Absolutely. And thank you for offering that.
The other thing, sir, is, while yes, the masks are not mandatory anymore, I think we need to make it clear that whoever feels comfortable wearing one, they absolutely are welcome to do that, because I know that some people are a little bit more cautious, and, we need to understand and respect that for the staff as well as students.
No, absolutely, Dr. Graham. We continue to highly encourage it. I wear a mask every time that I come to campus. I've been vaccinated, but I want to make sure that I'm protecting others. And so it is a personal decision. It is, and we will continue to highly encourage it. We just will not mandate it as per. I'm not ready to pay a $1,000 fine to Governor Abbott. So we've started to remove, or we should have removed, although I see one right there, sign. I did give that go-ahead. At first, we had considered using stickies to change it from required to highly encouraged. It's just that Dr. Pena explained to me it would be too difficult. And so we're removing, and we have removed those signs, and we're getting up the new signs.
I do have a question.
Please,
but
Ms.
maybe this
Sanchez.
might be more appropriate for executive session as to whether or not, I know the proposal is right now is to move back to the phase one, reintegrating folks back in, but was there a consideration given the issuance of GA 36 and the governor saying that, okay, we're not requiring, we can't mandate governmental entities, government officials, that folks wear a mask. So I was wondering if that was taken into consideration or evaluated in moving forward with that plan for phase one, perhaps holding that off, because then this is a concern that it's been in the news, and I think that I'll just raise. I think in El Paso County the numbers are looking good. I know that El Paso County, you see folks out in the street, they're wearing their masks. What I understand is perhaps we're not too far off from herd immunity. The other consideration is I know that the borders have been closed. They're going to reopen on June the 21st. And so, in terms of the data and the statistics in terms of who's been vaccinated, who hasn't, I think that may play a factor and be an issue. So I'm just wondering if there was consideration on that. And if it's something that we need to talk about in executive, then we certainly could. But that's just something I'll throw out there, but I'm getting the look from our attorney. So I'll ask that. We can maybe have a better, because I have some legal questions to that.
Yes, ma'am.
To the extent that there's any discussion about GA 36, I would
Yeah.
recommend that we have it behind
Okay.
executive session, yes.
Perfect, thank you. And then the only other thing I was just going to add, so yes, I think with the governor's order, it discusses the fact that you can't mandate, but I do think messaging is important. I do think, you use the language right now, highly encourage, we strongly encourage, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with any material in terms of messaging to say, we're asking you to wear your mask. That is not a mandate, that is not a requirement, but you're asking individuals out of the courtesy for their coworkers and others to wear their masks. Maybe another campaign in terms of just educational wise, again, we can't mandate folks at this point, but, out of courtesy or whatever, just something to think through. I think there's ways that it can be effective just to ensure, right, that folks feel comfortable returning back, and not that anybody would, but that it's a better environment for them to return.
Yes,
to.
ma'am.
Just some consideration.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions from any board member?
I think you're making the right decision, sir. It's not an easy one, but I think it's timely.
We've used the data, Dr. Graham. We've been consistent on utilizing the data on our recommendation. And believe it or not, the 10%, it just happened today. It fell to 9.98% today. And we anticipate that it will continue to be over the next 2-week period, and that on Monday, the 14th of June, we will have 25% capacity, 100% of staff participating. Then on August the 2nd, we will come back to the board and get your approval, but on August the 2nd, we would recommend that we have 50% capacity. And it's very strategic. We have our faculty that will be teaching 50% of their courses face-to-face in the fall. Want to make sure that our staff is at the same level of 50% for the fall as well.
And I applaud you for using your data and making sure to be very thorough with it. But in the same lines as Christina said, Ms. Sanchez, is that I don't know that there's enough. We have this data, right? But he just said for people to stop wearing masks, and now people are getting comfortable, and slowly they're stopping to wear a mask. We're walking around. We don't know what's going to happen between now and give it a few months, see how more people are reacting to this. I mean, I've personally had friends and family who are vaccinated, still have gotten COVID, still are in the hospital. So it's kind of scary for me to make a decision like that, but I know that you're doing your best. And that's all you have to go by right now is through that data.
No, we certainly appreciate that, Ms. Naida, and I would share also that the COVID team and I have always consistently said, if we get to, let's say, phase 2 and the numbers spike, we will always be able to come back to the board and revert back to phase 1. Or if we needed to, God forbid, if we needed to go back to a virtual environment, then we would do that as well. This is a way for us to plan, for us to move forward. I've shared with Leadership Academy, among others, that I would be advising the board. I said it's not official until the board approves it, but this is the direction that we're heading in. We know that all of the school districts are looking at some sort of return to campus effective this fall, and I worry, I have a 10-year-old. I worry that until he is eligible for a vaccination, he may be virtual until there's a vaccination available for him. But the 15-year-old has already gotten his first vaccination, his Pfizer vaccination at our Mission campus, and he will be getting his second, and he will be going to school for sure.
Okay.
He's going to do better. He's going to be with his friends.
I hope so, Dr. Graham.
So I need a motion on 1.97 for 25% on June.
No, Judge, it's just an opportunity for Dr. Serrata to provide an update and his recommendation and to obtain feedback from the board. No, it's not an action item.
So we don't have to vote on it.
No, Judge.
How about 1.98? 1.9?
We'll say possible
1.98,
take action.
1.97, 8, 9, and 10, if the board elects, it could hold that discussion in executive session and return and vote in open session afterwards.
Okay.
We want to move forward to 1.10. Item 1.10, board reports. Item 1.10.1, treasurer's report. No action is necessary. This is for the treasurer's report of April 30th, 2021. Item 1.10.2, president's report. Dr. William Serrata, college president, will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college to include an update on the COVID-19 pandemic and appropriate actions taken.
So I want to acknowledge Chair Haggerty, members of the board. I want to acknowledge two of our librarians. Congratulations to Mr. Adrian Morales, who's been elected president of the Texas Association of Chicanos in Higher Education, TACHE, for the El Paso Far West region, effective September 2021. Ms. Debbie Lopez has also been elected president of the Border Regional Library Association, effective June 2021. In addition, Ms. Lopez recently coordinated the volunteer effort for the El Paso Public Library's Dia de los Niños event that distributed free books to children. Thank you both for the great work representing EPCC and making a difference in our community. Congratulations to our surgical technology program faculty and students. All of our graduates passed their certification exams and are now officially certified surgical technologists. Thank you to our program faculty who are doing an exemplary job. You've made it possible for all of our students to complete the course with 100% pass rate in the last 7 surgical technology classes. The program's continued success is a result of your hard work and dedication to the students you serve. Special thanks to district-wide faculty coordinator Margaret Rodriguez and Dr. Soraya Hajar, Dean of Health, CTE Math and Science. Congratulations to Dr. Carmen Aguilera Gerner, Director of Workforce Strategic Initiatives, who has been appointed Area Manager of the West Texas region of the National Council of Continuing Education and Training. NCCET is nationally recognized for its business and industry certifications, certification programs and curriculum, professional development training, and growing initiatives and strategies to generate revenue and increase enrollments. Your service on this council will benefit our El Paso area partners with workforce development and training opportunities. Actions taken since the last board meeting. I participated in 85 virtual and/or in-person meetings. I traveled to Austin to advocate for EPCC and community colleges. Meetings including, I met with Jacob Frey, the CEO for the Texas Association of Community Colleges, and Dustin Meter, the Director of Government Relations. I met with Representative Fierro, met with Senator Blanco. I met with Vice Chair of Appropriations, Dr. Mary Gonzalez. I met with Speaker Pro Tem Moody. I met with Representative Ortega. I met with the Vice Chair of Higher Education, Representative Leo Pacheco from San Antonio, and I met with the Texas Association of Community College Officers. The budget conferees have now wrapped up the final budget for state appropriations. Final appropriations indicate a $1.1 million cut for EPCC. I participated in 14 Texas Association of Community College meetings as we continue with our strategy for the legislative session. So the regular session is over, but we know that there will be at least one special session called for redistricting, as well as Governor Abbott has indicated that during that special session, he will call on the legislature to look at the $16 billion that Texas received in funding and how that is allocated. We at TAC believe that we should receive some of those resources, so we will be advocating for that. In those meetings, a legislative session including 4 joint legislative leadership meetings with Texas Association of Community College leadership, the Community College Association of Texas Trustees leadership, and the Texas Community College Teacher Association leadership. We held 2 TAC legislative committee meetings, 2 Community College Finance Commission meeting, a TAC CEO only meeting, 2 Digital Texas Steering Committee meetings. I recorded AACC conference events. I presided over the American Association of Community College Live Broadcast Faculty Award winners. Participated in 2 Excellencia in Education meetings, including the Excellencia Development Committee, 2 COVID meetings with the college COVID team. I chaired the Texas Student Success Council Spring Quarterly meeting. Participated in a NISOD session with David Plois, Executive Editor of Diverse Issues in Higher Education, Dr. Leonor Rodicio, Executive Vice President at Miami-Dade College, and Dr. Eduardo Padron, Chancellor Emeritus from Miami-Dade College. Participated in Project Mail's 10th anniversary event with Dr. Victor Saenz and Dr. Luis Bonjuan. I chaired the El Paso Collaborative Board meeting, taped commencement address, and we broadcast our commencement on Sunday, May 22nd, and presented at the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank Technology Enabled Disruption Conference, Implications for Business, Labor Markets, and Monetary Policy. And I have one more announcement, Judge Haggerty. We don't have our cabinet members here with us, but I certainly want to acknowledge Dr. Steve Smith, who is now Dr. Steve Smith, who
Wow,
completed his doctoral work at the University of Texas at El Paso. You heard me reference Dr. Hajar, as did Mr. Uxer. Dr. Hajar has done as well, but very, very proud and thrilled that Dr. Smith is now got that behind him, and he is now Dr. Smith.
Oh, man, that's great.
It's about time.
I think you went pretty fast, Dr. Grab, considering all of the
But that's what
responsi-
we were
responsibilities
harassing
he has.
him. Congratulations, Dr. Smith.
I just want to know, when do you sleep?
I haven't slept much the last couple of days, for different reasons.
You're pretty busy. With the pandemic,
That concludes my report, Judge Hagerty.
Pretty busy. Okay, Pam, 1.11, consent docket.
1.11 consent docket, we have no items on the consent docket. Item 2.0 administration action item, the following policy is presented for first reading. B, local governance. And yes, I don't believe those are for voting purposes this time since it's first reading. And then item 2.2, the following 29 policies are presented for first reading. It's under section C, business and support services. So all of those policies are first reading tonight.
But it says action item.
I think that's just the way these software did that, so I'll need to see if they can remove that next time.
Okay, personnel?
Item, was there any discussion on those policies?
Nope. The only question I have on the policy is just for the one that Mr. Hegarty was mentioning, to create the one for the board's election. Would you be drafting that up and sending it to TASB, or?
We will be working on that, Dr. Graham, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But wouldn't we draft it till after we discuss it next board meeting?
I'm sorry, Judge?
We're going to put it on the agenda for next board meeting. I would think we'd want to do that after we have our discussion next month.
That's correct. We'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Personnel. Item 3.1, discussion and action to approve full-time staff and faculty recruited in positions funded by the institutional budget.
Have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question?
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye.
Item 3.2, discussion and action to approve full-time staff and faculty recruited in positions funded by grants and/or contracts. There are none. Item 3.3, information items, resignations, and retirements. No action is required. Section 4, financial services. Item 4.1, discussion and action on the approval to enter into a contract with Pena, Briones, McDaniel and Company, P.C. for financial and compliant audit services for the fiscal years ended August 31, 2021, 2022, 2023. Funding is provided by the external audit budget.
Move
Do I
to
hear a
approve.
motion? We have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Call the question?
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye.
Section physical facilities. Item 5.1, discussion and action on the approval of the selection of engineering firms for upcoming district-wide projects. Funding for projects will be provided by each individual budget for each construction project and plant funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question?
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye.
Section Curriculum and Instruction. Item 6.1, discussion and action on the approval of the restated and amended dual credit partnership agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Judge, I have some concerns that I wanted to discuss, but they're personnel related on dual credit. Can we take it into executive?
Is it on the agenda?
It's not, no, it's not on, well,
You'd
the
have to
dual
really-
credit is on the agenda.
Was that,
Dr. Graham, is that about a specific individual or a group of individuals?
A group.
If it's under a group of individuals, we cannot have that discussion in executive session, so you're more than welcome to bring it up.
Okay. Can, and I kind of put my thoughts on a paper for everybody, so.
thank you. Want me to pass them on?
So I've been kind of very excited that we, since we started Mission Early College High School, and then, of course, we've added so many others. I think I'm losing track of whether we have 13 or how many do we have?
27.
27. Okay, so I keep asking for feedback about, are we doing a very good job, and are we keeping track of everything with all the dual credit? And I know that Ms. Tony Badillo was nice enough to give us some information at one of our meetings, but that was more on the instructional side. I just want to hear, and maybe Dr. Serrata, you can have someone report to us on the actual services that are happening, when these students, because there's no way that we could have gone from that number of schools to what we have now and not continue adding staff to serve them. And then, especially this month that I started getting some other complaints and concerns, and usually I call you about them and things like that. This time I just put it in writing for you to kind of have notes on it. But I would like to hear from the side of the student services of those that are processing all our dual credit and early college applications and registration to see what are we doing, the ones that are working with the ISDs in particular. How many employees do we have doing that? How many schools do we have participating or assigned to each one of them? And there's a series of questions there, as you can see, because I want to make sure that we are doing a very good job in not only bringing them on board, but signing them up, and especially on the ed and drops and things like that. The complaints that I hear is, some of the classes are available, then they try to sign up for them, and then they're no longer available, so they've got to make another choice, and then they can't get that one either, that second choice, and then make a third choice. Some of that's been going on and on and on. The way I understand it also, that there's, when you have courses that either they can access or they are giving them priority, but then what's happening? So I kind of want to have a more robust report, not necessarily from the instructional side of the dual credit, but with everything else that's going on. Are the counselors really working with these kiddos? Who's helping them in the registration? And then at the bottom of that, I've given you a couple of names of people that are rude and don't answer.
And those names, Dr. Graham, I'm sorry, legal counsel, if we're going to talk about evaluation of their work or anything that could be related to their job performance, maybe those specific things we could discuss in executive session under
Okay.
551074. But if we're talking about just generally a class of employees, then that discussion is permitted.
Okay, so the names won't come up here. I've given them to Dr. Serrata on there just for follow-up, because now I'm asking, give me the name of the person you're dealing with so that I can bring it back to Dr. Serrata with the idea that we've got to improve the delivery of services, because otherwise the college's reputation out there is going to start getting tainted that, you know, we've got people that are not customer friendly. And maybe the problem is on the ISD side. And we need to know that as well so that we can respond appropriately. But if you can look into that and maybe we can have someone give us some responses to that.
Absolutely, Dr. Graham.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it. That's all, sir.
6.2, Pam?
Item 6.2, discussion and action on the approval of the El Paso ISD PTEX interlocal agreement.
Move to approve?
Second,
Any discussion? I have one question. Dr. Serrata, is this PTEC with the El Paso Independent School District, is it more than one?
I believe so, Judge. They are looking at one with Coronado, they're looking at one with El Paso High School, one with Franklin, and one with Jefferson. So they're looking at 4 different ones. I know that one, they're looking at teacher prep, and that really isn't a PTEC. But other than that, the rest of them are there, and we will move forward with our partnership with El Paso ISD. So there's 4.
And I have the same concern as Dr. Graham. Are we able to handle all?
So on the faculty side, on Dean Badillo's side, as well as Mr. Smith's side, we have added staff over a period of time. Now, obviously, during the pandemic, we held off on hiring staff. But as we come out of the pandemic and as enrollment grows, hopefully, then we will continue to add staff.
But our enrollment will grow with these.
Oh, yeah,
we get-
absolutely.
We get state funds for
We
every
do.
one of these
We do, Judge.
that are registered, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
is that similar to the one that we approved for Clint?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
has a few different components, but it's very similar under the.
That's correct. The PTECs are really looking at technology and looking at AAS degrees primarily for these students to be able to enroll in these courses and earn their credentials before they graduate from high school. So level 1 certificates as well as Associate of Applied Science degrees.
I think after this pandemic, we're gonna really need to restructure the teacher education programs because now the teachers that are in the schools are much more tech savvy than they were before the pandemic.
Absolutely.
And so are the mothers for that matter.
Dr. Strada,
Yes, sir.
the 4, would you name the 4 again, please?
Sure. It was,
Jefferson?
it is Coronado, El Paso High School, Franklin, and Jefferson.
And I just noticed out all that 3 of the 4 are on the west side. We're not going to incur any kind of discrimination where OPCC is concentrating in one area or
No,
the
this-
other or something?
This is the school district's choice, Mr. Uxer,
Okay.
of working with those particular high schools when they're ready to work with Bowie, with any other. We've done those. We already have Burgess is one of our early college high schools already. And I'm happy that El Paso ISD is moving forward with these.
Actually, Mr. Uxer, they are further behind than everybody else. So they're trying to catch up with the rest of us. Well, they are.
They are.
But it's good. It's good for
We
our
ap-
kids.
We appreciate all editorial comments.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye.
Item 7, Student Services, item 7.1, discussion and action on the approval of continuing education tuition rates for new courses.
Move to approve 7.1 and 7.2.
Second,
Can you read 7.2, Pam?
Yes, sir. Item 7.2, discussion and action on the approval of continuing education tuition rates for revised courses.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 8.0, Community Services, there are none. Would you like to go into executive session?
Executive session. We're going to do it in
The
here.
Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session
That's
pursuant
right.
to Chapter 551
I think
of
so.
the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons: consultation with its attorney to seek or receive legal advice, or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation, or for any purpose authorized by law, discussion about the value or transfer of real property, discussion about a prospective gift or donation, consideration of specific personnel matters, discussion about security personnel or devices, or discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Item 1.3.1, discussion with legal counsel regarding suspension of employee and student enrollment services pursuant to Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Discussion with legal, item 1.3.2, discussion with legal counsel regarding legal effect of Executive Order Number GA36 and other applicable guidelines related to the COVID-19 pandemic pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Discussion with legal counsel regarding the legal effect of ratification of the college president's rescission of Board Policy 5.01.09 in accordance with Governor Greg Abbott's Executive Order GA-36 in accordance with Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Item 1.3.4, discussion with legal counsel regarding pending litigation styled David Leslie versus El Paso County Community College District in the County Court at Law Number 6 of El Paso County, Texas, cause number 2020 DCV 1107, in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.071.
Okay, we're back in regular session. We need to make a motion or entertain a motion to ratification of the college president's rescission of Board Policy 5.01.09.
Okay. Did we want to go down the ones that I guess that we skipped? Should we go back to the 1.97? Judge, is that a no action? Do you need to read those in?
I do.
However she has it written there.
Okay.
So it would be item 1.9.7, if you could read it, Ms. Pena.
Yes. Item 1.9.7, discussion and take possible action regarding suspension of employee in the student and enrollment services.
And that's a no action item, Judge?
Okay, no action needed on that issue.
Item 1.9.8, discussion and take possible action regarding lifting of temporary COVID-19 restrictions in accordance with Governor Greg Abbott's Executive Order Number GA36 and other applicable guidelines related to the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's also no action needed, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
1.9.9, discussion and take possible action regarding ratification of the college president's rescission of Board Policy 5.01.09 in accordance with Governor Greg Abbott's Executive Order GA36.
Thank you, Pam. And just by way of background, Judge, for this item, so on Tuesday, I believe Governor Abbott had released Executive Order GA36. That was on May the 18th, and it prohibited any local governmental entity, which includes the community college, and also includes a government official, which would include any board of trustee, as well as Dr. Serrata, from opposing any or mandating any mask-wearing requirements. The deadline in which that governor's order would be in effect was 11:59 on Friday, May the 21st. And so if the college had any such requirement, which we did, that would have been required to be rescinded. So just for the benefit of the public and by way of background, in response to the pandemic and in order to authorize Dr. Serrata to do what he needed to do in such an emergency action, and quite frankly, to follow the protocol that was already set in place by Governor Abbott with his own emergency order, the Board of Trustees went ahead and authorized the president of the college to bypass any of the procedures and timeframes that were outlined in our College Board's Procedures 2.01.03.14 to revise new or existing policies and procedures in order to address issues arising from or related to COVID-19. We took that action on March the 27th, 2021. Acting on the board's prior authority as indicated, the college president appropriately rescinded that policy, 5.01.09, by sending a campus-wide communication via email on May the 21st, 2021, that rescinded the college's mandatory face mask requirement. At this time, Judge, I'd like to go ahead and move to ratify the college president's rescission of Board Policy 5.01.09, entitled Mandatory Face Mask Policy, which action was required and mandated by Governor Greg Abbott's Executive Order GA 36. Thank you. That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Yes, sir, second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
If I could just very quickly, just to clarify, the resolution of the board was March 27th of 20.
Oh, okay, March 27th, 2020, that's right. We had extended it, though, so yes, ma'am, thank you.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye?
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
I hate Abbott.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.9.10, discussion and take possible action regarding pending litigation style David Leslie versus El Paso County Community College District in the County Court at Law Number 6 of El Paso County, Texas, cause number 2020 DCV 1107.
There's still no action.
No, sir, we do have action on that one, and the action would be, go ahead and take action as recommended by legal counsel in executive session. So that would be the motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Call the question, Pam.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye?
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. I'd like to let everyone know we are going to have our next meeting on June the 23rd. Facilities at 3 o'clock, and the board meeting will be at 4:30. June the 23rd. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So
made.
moved.
Everybody that wants to adjourn, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.